Hi, and welcome to this tutorial. This tutorial is actually going to be going more in-depth on the MySQL implementation with VB.net. Now, I've been receiving a lot of comments and emails saying that they understood how to actually connect and use the MySQL server. They just didn't understand why and how it worked. So what I'm going to be doing today is actually delving into the code and pretty much going at it piece by piece and trying to explain to you guys how it actually works. Now, when we started out the project, if you remember, we actually installed a connector. Now, this connector allowed our program to actually use the MySQL database and the MySQL database language. So whenever you're using a MySQL project or want to connect to a MySQL server, you're going to need to type this code at the top. This code pretty much just allows your program to recognize that you're bringing in a MySQL language and you need it to be implemented into your project. Now that we've got that down, I'm going to tell you that we are going to use the registration form of our tutorial project because this is the most in-depth and complicated part of the project. And I want to explain as many things as possible in one tutorial, so sit tight and let's begin. Now, when we need to connect to the MySQL server, we actually need to establish a connection to the server, which is what we do here. We pretty much say that this variable con will be a new connection. And then here we actually make it a new MySQL connection and then specify the details that are in the server. Now, whenever you create a MySQL database, it gives you this server information. Now, what this does is it allows our client to use this server information to actually interact with the server. The next thing we do is just dim a Boolean username as true. This is going to be used when we double check if the username exists or not, but right now it's of no importance to us. And then we actually want to open up the connection. Now, when we first create a connection, it is closed and inactive. But this command, connection.open, actually creates an open and active connection that can be used. Now, when you're accessing the database, of course you're going to need a command to do certain stuff on the database. For example, when you're programming VB.net, you need to type in commands to actually make the program work. So here we need a command to make the database work. So that's what we're doing here. We're dimming a simple string, in this case SQL query, and it's actually using the MySQL language. Now, MySQL databases have their own language that you should know if you want to continue accessing the databases. And in this case, we are using the select command, and that is just simply getting information where or such as certain information is this. So in this case, we're selecting everything, which everything is represented with an asterisk, from new table, which new table was the table we created in, I believe it was part 2 of these tutorials, which allowed us to actually insert information. Where, so such as username, which is a field we created in like part 2, equals textbox1.text. So we're pretty much saying get all the information where the username is what we have inserted in textbox 1. And that is what our command is doing. But our command will not just execute itself. We're actually just saying, here's the command. And now we're just saying, we're just creating a reader, because once the command is executed, we need something to read the results of the command, which is what we're doing here. And then when we actually create the command, it is not automatically readable by MySQL servers. First, it needs to, let's just say, change. Sort of like if you have two different cables and you need one to change to the other, you go out to the store and buy an adapter. In this case, we're just creating an adapter, and this adapter allows us to actually change the command so it is readable by the MySQL servers. And now we're actually creating the command. So right here we created what the command will do, but here we're creating the physical command. So that'd be like if we were trying to give our kids a command. If we, no, bad analogy, let's just skip that. Okay, so right here we're actually creating the command, but we're not telling it what it should do. And right here we're actually telling it what it should do. command.commandText equals SQL query. Now the command text property of a command is what the command should actually do. So yeah, there's a command there, but what do you want the command to do? Should it sit down? Should it get stuff? Should it do whatever? And in this case, the command is going to select anything from the new table where the username is textbox1. So pretty simple. And then also what we need is the command needs something to connect to. It actually needs a server they can execute the command on, which is what we say here. We're saying, hey command, use the connection that we specified up here. So we're just saying command.connection equals con, which is up here. Then if we scroll down a tad, we get adapter.select command equals command. So we're actually getting the adapter to modify the command right here, where it can be read by the SQL server. Now, all you're doing here is just saying, hey, command, change, good job. Very simple. And then we're actually executing the command right here with the command.executeReader. But we can't just command.executeReader because that wouldn't return any results, and we need results. So we're using this reader that we created earlier, and we're pretty much plugging the results from executeReader into data. Now, this next section, while data.read, pretty much is saying, while there is still available information in data, if we used all the information, then there's not going to be any information left, right? So this is pretty much saying while there's information available. And then, so while there's information available, we're going to check if it has rows. Now that pretty much means if there is a thing where username equals what is in textbox1.text, then we do this. So pretty much if the username already exists, then we're going to say use already in use. And then we're going to say username equals false because this username is not available. And then we're going to simply close the reader because we don't need it anymore. And here we say if the data does not have rows. So if the username does not already exist, we are simply closing the data and then changing username to true because that username is available. So hopefully that made sense to you, because that is one of the harder parts to explain. And then once we're done with all that, just in case data didn't close in while data.read, we're going to close it just in case. Because if you do not close it, it uses up extra space on the client or on the computer's memory, and therefore it slows the computer down and slows your application down overall. So now what we want to say, if the username is available, so if it went through all this and the username is actually available, then we're going to run all this. Otherwise, it's not going to do any of this, because that makes sense. If a username is not available, we shouldn't be creating the account. But in this case, if the username is available, we're creating the account. So we're pretty much doing the same thing here, except we're adding 2's on the end of everything. So right here, we're actually creating the command text, where this is what we're going to be doing in the server. Now keep in mind, this is again written in the MySQL language, but we're pretty much inserting a new value. So we're going to insert into the new table, which as we explained earlier is the table we created in part 2, and then we need to actually specify the 2 fields that we need to insert into. In this case, we need to create a new username and a new password. And then once those fields are specified, we're going to need to say what to put in those fields. So pick up those baskets is what we're saying here. Pick up the red basket and the blue basket. And now we're actually going to say what to put in the baskets. So it goes in chronological order here. So first matches with first. So username matches with textbox1.text. And then password matches with textbox2.text. So put textbox1.text in username and textbox2.text in password. Now these quotations and stuff are simply there because everything in a SQL command that is not an actual command needs to be put in apostrophe marks, if you will. So we have to complete we have to create a complicated series of quotations in order to accomplish that with VB.net. And then here we're simply creating a new reader that will actually get the results of the command, and then we're creating a new adapter as well, which changes the command into something MySQL can read. We're also creating a new command, and then right here we're plugging what we want the command to do into the command. We're also saying that the command should use the connection that we specified up here so it can actually access our server. And here we're telling the adapter to change the command so the server can read it. And now we're just getting the results of the command. So we're executing the command and getting the results. And obviously, if the command worked, we'd be getting no errors, and then we get message box, you've registered. So that is a rundown of how the MySQL commands work. Hopefully you understood everything that's going on. If not, you can always ask me questions in the comments below. And yeah, please do not leave me emails saying I do not deserve my YouTube partnership. I create plenty of videos. I have been running low on time due to school. Got the SATs, got the CASI, CASI is the exit exam. So I'm trying to exit high school here, and if you don't want me to create videos, fine, unsubscribe. Alright? So, thanks for watching this video, guys. Remember to comment, subscribe, ask questions in the comments. Go on live support with me if you really want something answered fast. And enjoy your guys' day. So, thanks for watching, and just live life. Wait. Yeah. Alright, see you guys. Bye. Yeah, okay. Brandy. What are you talking about? Can't even spell. Partnership? What is partnership? What is you? Didn't? I don't even know what didn't is. Yeah.